like to begin, first of all, with a welcome to each of you, and especially to Ron Whitten. And Ron, as many of you know, has had a little bit of a journey here this last month. And Ron, would you not only just share for a moment, maybe 5 minutes or so, how things are going for you? All these guys have been asking me, so I thought I'd just have them hear it straight from you. And then would you lead into our meeting with a word of prayer today?
Oh, okay. Yeah. As far as how I am doing, I am doing well. I'm probably 85 to 90% back, maybe a little better. Maybe I'm 100%. I'm just not wanting to admit that. Before I share this quick story of what happened and really God's miracle in me, that what I want to first of all say is this: remember, this is not about me. This is about what God has done for me. Right? I don't want anybody to ever think that Ron's the hero of this story, because Ron's not the hero of the story. Ron was just a participant that really was not in control of anything. So August 14th, I just finished up a meeting with Pastor Todd, our weekly meeting, and I went to push the button to turn off my car, and I could see the button, but I could not push it with my right arm, my right finger. I kept missing it. And I was like, "Oh, this is not good." I had no symptoms. I had nothing ahead of time, no warning, and I thought, "Oh, this is not good." So I said, "Okay, well, I got it." And I was fully conscious. I thought, "Well, I've got to get out of the car and I'll walk into my building where I work at." And I got out of my car and fell to the ground, and quickly realized that my entire right side, from my shoulders down, was completely paralyzed. So I thought, okay, well, I'm just gonna stand up and I'm gonna somehow walk into that building in there. And I tried to stand up and could not stand up because I couldn't use my arms, my right arm or my right leg. So I thought, okay, well, I'm gonna crawl. And so I tried to crawl, and that didn't work either. And then I thought, well, I'm going to yell, and someone surely will hear me inside the building. And it's a manufacturing plant, so it's pretty noisy. So not a person heard my yells. So I tried for about 15 minutes to keep standing up, to crawl, to yell. I was kind of rotating back and forth between the three of them, and I did not have my phone with me. Anyways, this went on for about 15 minutes, and I literally had come to the conclusion, like, okay, I guess I am literally just gonna lay here until someone walks out of that building. And I have no idea when that's going to be, but I guess I have no choice. I'm out of options. I've done everything that I can humanly do. And for some reason, well, not for some reason, because God had control of this. It's like he said, "Okay, you've done everything you can. Now get out of my way. I'll take it from here." And I said, "Okay, one last time, I'm going to try to stand up." And I stood up. And then I actually walked about 20 yards from my car to the building, used my right arm, opened the door to the building, and the door is a very hard door to open because of the suction within the building, because of the manufacturing. I pulled the door open, yelled, and unfortunately there were some people that were standing in the hallway, and they heard me. Instead of them being in the back of the shop, they were up in the front part, and they came to my rescue. And at that moment, that was the last time I used my right side for a while. And they got an ambulance. Then they get me to the hospital. But there's a lot of this. I could tell the story. I could go on for hours, because there were so many blessings and so many things that occurred that allowed me to be here today. But God had to intervene, because I was literally out of options. I did not know what I was going to do. And if you know anything about a stroke, the longer you go without treatment, the more damage gets done. So, time is of the essence. So I was in the hospital for a couple of weeks, and I was telling my story to the nurses in the hospital. And it was so interesting, because literally one of them just looked me square in the eye and she said, "Ryan, that is not how a stroke works. You're not paralyzed. then unparalyzed, and then paralyzed again. She goes, "There's not the gap in between. Once
Oh.
you're that's."
That's
And
it.
she said that, and I said, "Yeah, that's because I was out of options, but my Lord and Savior was not out of options. So He literally picked me up, got me inside the building, and got me the help that I needed to be here today." So anyway, that's the Cliff Note version of what I've gone through for the past 2 months.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
The Lord.
Absolutely miraculous. And, you know, you're still, I know, in some therapy and working through all that and trying to get back to at least whatever normal was. But Ron shared his testimony for the Board of Trustees at MacU Tuesday morning, and then shared his testimony at his church on Sunday. And what was interesting is that when he finished on Tuesday, tell a little bit about that conversation with the lawyer on our trustee board.
Oh, I didn't know she was a lawyer. So
Yeah.
okay, well, I didn't realize that. Anyway,
We'd have
so
watched what you said, right?
yeah, like, oh, okay. So it's interesting. After I got telling my story, I had left the room and wherever, came back, and anyway, she stopped me. This lady stops me. I'd seen her, but I'd never met her before. And she says, "Hey, thank you very much for your testimony." She said, "It really rung true to me," but she goes, "But you're probably not going to think it rung true to me for the right reasons." And I go, "Okay." She goes, "I'm sure you wanted me to get the message of how God was the one that took control of the situation, not you." And I said, "Yeah, that was kind of the kind of the message." She said, "Well, the thing that really rung true through to me was when you were talking about how you've lived a lot of your life with God on your shoulder and not below your shoulders." And I said, "Okay, yeah." I said, "I've run many businesses, owned many businesses, and God was always there, but kind of like that's not what drove me every morning when I woke up, right? I woke up every morning going, how am I going to improve my businesses, and how am I going to improve the lives of the people that work for my businesses?" But God was always kind of sitting there on my shoulder. And she said to me, she goes, "I am absolutely struggling with how do you get God off your shoulder and how do you get him into your heart?" And I said, "Well, I can only tell you what started that journey for me." And I said, "Pastor Todd has been a big part of me on that journey, because I was kind of at the same place. I was at the point of writing checks was no longer fulfilling to me. Right, donating my time was no longer fulfilling. It was just like, all right, here's your check. All right, here's some time, but there was nothing. I was gaining nothing out of it, and so I connected her with Pastor Todd, and you can tell Todd what's going to happen then. But it was so interesting, and I said to her later on, I said, it's not a matter of what words I say or what words I use. What matters is how does God connect with you? What does that resonate with you? That's whatever my words are pretty irrelevant in the whole thing. It's if God connected with you and spoke to you, then that's the message that you needed to hear at that time. So yes, that was pretty amazing to hear that from her.
Yeah. So she followed up and talked with me for a brief moment. And as a result, we are scheduling a Zoom together the first of next week just to find out where she is and what's going on with her life. And if this is a mere matter of leading someone to Christ or to a deeper walk with Christ, or if this is someone who may be engaging in this experience. We don't know yet, but I really appreciated Ron's heart and the way he shared his story, and how the power of that story might be connecting someone else to a deeper walk with Christ.